Hi, I'd like to talk to you about some feedback that I have for you based on reading through your week 1 work, your submissions, some additional resources that I'd like to point out to you and that I've posted to the site, and also talk to you about week 4 expectations. Okay, first of all, I have been grading your work, and if you click into my grades, you'll be able to see the feedback that I've provided for you on your discussion board posts. And also, if you've already gone ahead and submitted work from, in particular, folks have been submitting evidence too, you can see my feedback directly on the rubric. So when you go into the Grade Center, look specifically at the rubric within each indicator, especially if you're not at the proficient level. I've given you some feedback within the rubric, specific feedback. So you can go ahead and look at that and begin to make revisions as needed. Many of you I've told go ahead and this is ready for task streams. So that work again was not due yet, but I'm trying to be responsive to your timeline, and as you post things, go ahead and grade them. I won't have time to grade every day, but I will grade every week, usually on Tuesdays. So because your due date is Mondays at midnight, I try to grade on Tuesdays. So if you're working through revisions, I will probably only look at those once a week as you load things to move forward. I'll try to work in extra grading, but it's difficult, and I'm sure you can understand. I'm sure you're all working very hard too. Okay, so you can look at your grades and look at specific feedback there. One of the things that I noticed in your discussion boards, the discussion board a lot of you, well, that you posted to this week, had to do with the work that you've been prepping for 6D. I believe that was in Module 1, sorry. And one of the things that I said to multiple people, in fact, almost everybody, was make sure as you think about your preparation for 6D that part of what you're looking for from this focus group of stakeholders, I want you to keep two things in mind. One is this group of stakeholders needs to consist of both internal and external stakeholders. So it's not sufficient to just have your PLC meet if your PLC only consists of people who work in your school. You need to involve parents and or community members in this focus group. The other thing I want you to keep in mind when you have your focus group is many of you, the way that you wrote your summary of the data that you've analyzed and the action steps that you've taken thus far, in many ways I think is more about a presentation, and it would actually close a conversation rather than open a conversation up. Look for places where you have questions, where your stakeholders might be able to provide you with ideas or feedback. Look for places where they might have recommendations or ways that they can help you. You want to elicit feedback, not just say, here's what we've done and I'm presenting it all to you and the end. You want there to be a conversation there. Okay, one of the things that I noticed a lot of people posting about in your discussions about places where you are perhaps having some difficulty or meeting with some resistance from teachers is in the area of professional development. One of the things I want you to notice about this week's work, in Module 6, you will be looking at information related to professional development, developing quality educational programs here in your reading, and then professional development for teachers and staff at the Learning Forward site. That information related to appropriate and effective professional development for teachers will be very useful. It's something I want you to reflect on for your posting for this week. But I also want to share with you another resource called MOOC. That's spelled M-O-O-C, and it stands for Massive Open Online Course. If you haven't heard of those before, I have no doubt you will soon. Anyway, MOOC provider Coursera is one that I've been playing around with. You can find Coursera at coursera.org. And one of the things that I've noticed as I've been looking around at some of the courses that I might like to take for my own benefit and learning, I've noticed they have courses specifically for educators. Specifically, if you go into Coursera and you search under New Teacher Center, you will see several courses, professional development courses, available for free, and they're very engaging and well done. And teachers can take these courses. You can read about the course here. It tells you what the workload is like. It tells you what you'll be doing in the course, and you can also obtain a statement of accomplishment for successfully completing the class. It might be something to look into as a potential teacher professional development for teachers in your school or your district. Even just searching here under teacher professional development, you'll find multiple courses that you may find very interesting in terms of a different way of thinking about professional development, a cost-effective, free way of thinking about professional development. Just in scrolling across these courses here, I'm wondering if you might be interested or excited about some of these ideas. Even for you coaching teachers, promoting changes that stick. It sounds like a great course for many of you. So I just wanted to provide you with that resource. Another resource that I have posted to your Blackboard site can be found in MELS information. And if you scroll down, there is a new folder called Materials from Dr. Lamb. Basically, we did a survey of MELS candidates last May. And in looking at that survey data, what we saw was that multiple candidates talked about the useful materials that Dr. Dale Lamb has provided for his interns. And so I asked Dr. Lamb, are you willing to share your materials? And I heard back from him this week. He has updated his materials for 2013, and they are here in this folder for you to use. He's got Dale's notes where he's highlighted and made notes within the descriptions of the different evidences. He's given some ideas on how to write your summary descriptors and a reference guide for the kinds of evidences or the kinds of artifacts that you can include in your evidences. So I hope that that material is helpful to you. Okay, just briefly for week 4, you'll work in Module 5 and Module 6. Viewing these PD 360 videos on differentiation of instruction is, again, not required for this accelerated course, but could certainly be useful to you in your future work as an executive leader or even in your current work, either within your own classroom or with professional development of other teachers. Required work, I'd like you to focus on making 5D done. Think about auditing the cultural competence of your site, making sure that school vision, mission, and teacher quality are described fully, and work on your summary descriptors if you haven't, or your descriptor summary, sorry, if you haven't done that already. That's not something necessarily to submit right now, but I'm just trying to keep you on track with paying attention to all your artifacts as we move forward. Required work for this week includes reading Chapter 8, 9, or 10 as applicable to your grade level of interest in the curriculum leadership text. And in addition to that reading, going to the Learning Forward site, viewing 6 videos explaining the definition of professional development, exploring other resources on the site to become familiar with what's available, and then use that content to think about how the challenges, issues identified in the chapter relate to your grade level of interest. How does that influence your school site and your work with your PLC? So think about how professional development and specific issues at your site influence your work. And when you post those ideas to the discussion board, I'd like for you to make sure that you integrate the content that you've read this week. Okay, as a reminder, that information, all of that is due by September 23rd at midnight. Please continue to contact me with any questions or concerns, and I hope you have a good week. Bye.